people have to stop believing that they can arrive at quantitative predictions of so many things about the future and look, as I was describing earlier, for robust and resilient narratives. That takes us back to the kind of work that preceded the financial crisis, where people thought they could control risks in their banks by complex probabilistic modeling of the kind we've described. That led to the famous David Viniar, CFO Goldman Sachs episode, in which, as the crisis broke, he said, we've experienced 25 standard deviation events several days in a row. Well, if you know anything about statistics, you know you don't experience 25 standard deviation events at all, far less several days in a row. What he meant, or should have meant, was that we were dealing with things that were outside the scope of the Goldman Sachs models. And that was a large part of the problem of the 2008 financial crisis, was people believing that they could rely on these models to control their risks, rather than looking for strategies that were robust and resilient to events which they couldn't expect to anticipate. That's how we should think about planning in kind of ways for an uncertain world.
And you've had access to many people at the top table in these situations since the 80s. I'm thinking notably around 2008, where you've watched these crises unfold. And I love the fact that you quote Richard Rummel's seemingly banal question, what's going on here? I should add that Good Strategy, Bad Strategy is one of my favorite books. But so many of the guests we have on the show describe some commercial or performance crisis being really about a lack of situational awareness. They couldn't literally see what was going on around them at all. They were so narrowly focused. What have you learned about that for being in those situations so many times?
Yeah, I'm glad you like Rummel's book, because I think it's certainly the best business book written in the last decade or so. And that banal question, what is going on here? It's back to what we were saying when we talked about the Linda problem, in a way. It's you're given disparate facts and you're trying to frame them into some coherent narrative. We talk about inductive, deductive, abductive reasoning. Abductive reasoning is really this: what is going on here, and trying to describe a unique situation. Is the skill of the good historian or the good lawyer, actually, who's given a batch of disparate and unique facts and has to find a coherent explanation for what is happening there. And that's a kind of iterative process in which you formulate hypotheses and then test them against additional information about the situation. And that's the essence of handling rapidly evolving complexity.
Yes, because most organizations are inundated with these pre-populated templates where they're doing the opposite of that, which is they're trying to use the template to make sense of a fact. So they're already decided, in fact, what it looks like. They're just looking for supporting evidence to populate it.
Yeah, I remember going to one strategy meeting where they just did a presentation where people were in the way of a certain kind of consultant. They had a 2x2 matrix of the kind of company you could be. And after listening to some argument about which of these four options this company was, one said, well, perhaps you aren't any of these. Perhaps this isn't a helpful way of describing your business. It was exactly the pre-populated template that you're describing.